Okay, it's been a while. Lots happened, of course, COVID-19. Um, a great deal before that, to be honest. I didn't post the videos and I will do. Yeah, we'll come back to that. I'm making this video because, in truth, I literally nearly died. I was making a point that where I live, Torquay, Torbay, the English Riviera, it's a hub, a global tiny town for French, Italian, Spanish, Middle Eastern, Asian language students that our government was, the finances were put, the economy was put before the people. And they say that it came from, a French ski resort to Torbay. No, it didn't. I took a bus with like loads of Italian students mid-February, and that's the prime time they begin in droves to come to Turkey. And asked them, and they said, well, we're coming in, we're not checked. I said, well, nothing. They went, no. I was like, so, well, they went, well, if we get symptoms, we have to report to school. These kids are staying with local families, and I was one of the best house mothers, as I've mentioned in previous videos, for the school. So I really do know what is going on. We're talking right across the world. Right across the world. I've had students from across the world. So I knew what was going on, and our government, Kevin J. Foster MP, was just like, ignored it. Johnson's been out today for missing, 5 Cobra meetings? What a snake, you know what I mean? What an absolute snake. They're getting ripped to bits, and they should be absolutely torn to pieces for what they've done to us, really. I've lost weight since my last video, and I'm going to upload a video just prior to my becoming ill, because you can see the difference in me. It's just like, so let's get back to the COVID experience. Initially, around the 26th of February, I become really quite unwell. Seriously, I've had pneumonia before in my early 20s, so it's not, I understand the illness. And wow, it was just unreal, in the respect of it wasn't a normal flu. And it began with the dry cough. But not only that, it was like the worst sinus infection you could possibly have. And it just took over. I just was unable to breathe in, breathe out. It was just causing me severe problems. And not only that, my chest as well. It was like the most horrific chest infection at the same time. So that was both going on. But I had no temperature, not anything to report. It was like, in my pajamas, because I'm not going to go anywhere in that state. So I was like, top off, top on, top off, but nothing severe in the respect of a temperature. So for all the lack of transparency at the time, I'm thinking, well, this isn't COVID then. And if COVID's on its way, tsunami's coming now, I'm not going to make it if I'm this sick. So I had to start preparing, like really quite, oh God, this is it. You got to remember, people had an international medical company, but it wasn't only that. When I lived in India for 5 years, it wasn't that I was, I had to be on a very high level, medically aware, flying surgeons into Harley Street. Many things. I worked with the best hospitals and surgeons and doctors in the medical hub of the world, India. So my medical knowledge is vast, as I've mentioned before. But this hit me like nothing else. My brain was affected, and fatigue was just off the scale. And because I'm such a prolific writer on Facebook, Lisa Rogue One Jedi Facebook, and 8 years on Twitter. Yeah, it was just, I couldn't even pull a post together. I couldn't even express, I'm watching all this global political goings on, let's say, really major things going on, and I couldn't even pull myself together to comment. I just couldn't even just say, yeah, I'm still alive. I was just um so yeah, that was bad. That was really bad. And then I started, right, from there, I thought, right, dentists are saying in Britain, the first indication of PPE shortages came back about the 24th of Feb. I had a series of dentist appointments that I was supposed to attend. And I realised there and then, I can't go to the dentist right now. I'm in a state, and there was numerous doctors closed in Torbay, and yeah, I cancelled all appointments. I was pretty seriously ill, and after a week, 7 days, I picked up. I felt I got back some energy, some ability to function, which I didn't have, which is not like me. I've woke up in the middle of surgery, genuinely. I am so tough physically in that way. Like, I can take unimaginable amounts of pain and distress. I've experienced a great deal of that in my life, so I'm really tough, and this knocked me for six. So I got audio mass. This is what Johnson should have been doing, but he wasn't. And I realised the shortage, and my family in Liverpool was sorting things out and sending things down the line. A message from Liverpool: get to Boris Johnson dad's town, Exmouth, pick up the best tech mass you can possibly acquire, which in hindsight was invaluable, because I was walking around with COVID-19 and I didn't know it, and therefore I was likely to spread it to many people. By then, numerous doctors in my town had closed down, and many people were catching it, including medics. So this is way back. Yeah, I picked up and was greatly relieved, and thought, right, get well, just build on my immunity, do everything I can in that respect to, like, prepare for this tsunami. This tsunami is coming, COVID. But I didn't realise what was going on at that point. I researched in China and I researched in Italy, because I've got children, I've got grandchildren, so I needed to know. I joined Weibo in China, and I really realised it wasn't a blatant obvious thing. It was an air of, oh, this isn't cool. This isn't just stride on in there and, oh, hi, I do Twitter and I la la la, and this is me. It was a very tense realisation that, whoa, this is bad, amongst the social media people on Weibo. So that really hit home. Yeah, oh God, what I went through after that was just unbelievable. Now they're saying that a month later, after COVID, people are dying, and now I know why. I had a major stomach surgery in 2007 and treat my stomach every day for medical issues regarding that. It's usually well maintained, but that would be an underlying health problem for me. And in truth, cheers, targeted individual, post-traumatic stress disorder, tortured by the police, agoraphobia, panic attacks, post-traumatic stress disorder to the severity that I had after they electrocuted me and so forth. What you do when you've got post-traumatic stress disorder, especially in my case from when I was a child, I had an absolute breakdown after they did that to me and went, thank you, I can't leave this house. I stayed in my bed for 3.5 years. So it's like, well, how do I manage this? And I couldn't manage it. I couldn't cope with it at all. I was existing, not living, many issues. So I just was like, thank you very much, escapism. So after some time of just drinking, no, I was just in a mess, I really was. They left me in such a state. And I affected my liver eventually. And I had to, cut back altogether on alcohol and allow my liver to repair, because that was where I ended up. I ended up attempting suicide and things. I was in that bad state. I wasn't living, I was existing, and that was just point unbearable. So that was another underlying and health problem that came to be with regard to COVID. I then, 1 month later, 24th of Feb, so it would have been literally to the day, 4 weeks later, and I was hit by what seemed to be like an atomic bomb. I mean, blown off my feet. I'm hearing now of people going into hospital with gastro issues, and that was what raised. Sorry, I didn't mention in the right hand side of my throat, I had the first symptoms was a sore throat and a dry cough, then the chest and the sinus and the so forth. That was just uncontrollable, out of control. Got through it, and then that's remained, to be honest. That hasn't even left me to this day. It left me for a couple of days, but it's still going on. Then I couldn't think and I couldn't function. I was just fatigued out. I just couldn't do anything. I couldn't even bother with myself, clean the house, nothing. I couldn't do anything. And then it just got really bad. My stomach was literally stomach death. I don't want to go into the implications of that. I'm sure you can imagine. Horrific. And I appealed to my doctors, who I don't trust anyway, because I've stated it previously, medical abuse is very much an issue for targeted individuals. Look at Navalny, his eyes were poisoned and they covered it up. The medics covered it up. So, we can clap for the NHS, but, there are many an issue, like, autism kids getting thrown food under a door at them. Many Down syndrome in the 60s. These people that we're clapping for, they need to whistleblow now, COVID-19, because they are in the firing line where they've not been before, and they will cover up for governments. And I think this is a positive with regards to COVID, because they're actually standing up and going, you know what, this is a step too far. And, is that, 2 years ago I was in intensive care in Torbay Hospital. It come out of nowhere, same gastro, yeah. And I nearly died. I was in critical care for a week, unable to eat, unable to drink, really dying, and I survived. And I had some really good people around me, medics, and I've worked with medics, in India, many of my friends. So I'm not against medics in that respect. I'm against the government medics who cover up. And the ones like my doctors who were best mates with the, excuse me, I nearly swore, Chief of Police Torquay, Devon and Cornwall Police. I look on their Twitter account after them abusing me and I go, whoa, 30 years in the same surgery and everybody's like, oh, she's the nicest person in the world you could meet. Suddenly I'm some kind of fucking what? I don't know. Target. I just couldn't get it, I just didn't understand it. Yeah, bang out of order. So I don't trust them as far as I could spit because of my medical knowledge. Even in India, I'm looking at that right now and I know the truth behind all of that. The people that are attacking me, they've never got a hope in hell of ever seeing a medic. And for me, I worked with animal rescue for 5 years in India as well. Besides, I worked myself into the ground and I seen many an animal, through to passing, which was very difficult, organ failures and so forth. So I became very aware of, I made one huge mistake at the beginning of my animal rescue work, and it was to get to the point with this kitten, yeah, and I'd done everything for it. And that's my body cam. Hold on, saying it's run out of memory. Yeah, this kitten, and I was like, ugh, last breath, shit, what am I gonna fucking do? Truthfully, because I wasn't experienced at that time, but this was a huge lesson for me. And when that kitten reached that point of, it's now, death is coming, I fucking freaked and took that kitten and took it not too far, 4 miles, 2 miles, to the animal rescue centre, going, and they looked at me and I learned a big lesson that day. It was like, I should have kept that kitten at home. It was already too late and I should have just gave it all the love and care in the world that I possibly could and gave it a good death rather than what I did. And the guilt that filled me for that, I'll never forget it as I'm speaking of it today, was I should have given that kitten a good death, not ran like an idiot to the animal sanctuary for professional help when it was beyond it. So when our governments, at the very beginning of this, the medics, they said, you need to make a decision at this point. You need to decide if you're going to die at home. And there and then I made that decision. I made that decision that there wouldn't be enough respiratory help and the medics, the hospitals, everyone and so forth. So it was quite a brave decision really, was no matter what comes, I will stay at home. And that was that. That was decision made. I didn't wait for crisis point. I made it there and then because of my experience. But when it came down to it, fucking hell, it was bad, I was just lay on this bed, unable to move. I couldn't lie on my side. All my internal organs were failing and I knew it. And I had it was the pink super full moon that night. That was it. And I knew it, and I started getting respiratory problems, my heart palpitations, my stomach had died, it started in my liver. I was just fucked to bits, utterly fucked, and fever and headaches. I can't describe what I was going through. I was fucking delirious to a point. But I knew what was happening within myself, And I reached out for one thing alone, one solitary thing alone. I called the COVID hotline and spoke to a receptionist who when I began to express my difficulties, that person immediately recognised that I have a fair bit of medical knowledge and said declared immediately that they are not medically knowledgeable and passed me on to, who was that really? A doctor? No. Someone else, a doctor, a nurse, I think it was. I was that bad at the time, you know, and then that nurse forwarded me to a paramedic. And when I spoke to the paramedic, that paramedic didn't, you know, everything you're saying now, you're right to do. You're observing what you're passing, there's no blood, this and that, which I've been doing for days. Electrolytes to rehydrate because I couldn't eat. Complan to try and get food down me. The pain medication that I'm on anyway, which is full of paracetamol. I was totally controlling my own demise, let's say, and you know, not putting any pressure on the NHS. That was something I decided I wouldn't do. But when I came to it, and I desperately needed life-saving antibiotics, fuck me, man, that was impossible, you know. And the paramedic literally clarified COVID, and told me, don't worry about it, can you get any help? And I'm like, well, yeah, in the respect of, you know, my daughter's got my fucking, I hate my mother, you know, I really hate her, for good reason, said it many times. And, you know, she's got that on her case, like, to deal with. So I couldn't ask of my daughter, really, of anything to help me, because it would possibly, you know, cross-contaminate and so forth. So what I did was they've closed all the doctors nearby, my doctors nearby, so it was a great distance. When you're dying, it's a fucking great distance. And the paramedics said, don't worry, people are there, they'll help you, you know. They can help you get these tests and so forth. Like, have I got gastroenteritis, or is this COVID, or fucking what? I'm dying. And I'm not a panicker. I've woken up in the middle of open surgery getting hacked to death, literally. It was pretty horrific, to be truthful with you. It was horrific, actually, utterly horrific, because I was awake for some time. And I was being hacked to death, and it was just, you know, they thought I was asleep, so it was like no holds barred, whoa, at me. I was open surgery and I'm getting hacked to death, and I was completely paralyzed. I couldn't even move my eyes, aware of everything. And the one thing I learned that day was, when you put you to sleep, the fucking pain remains. I felt everything they were doing to me there and then. I really did. And I couldn't even, there was one surgeon at the bottom of the bed and my feet, and his gown was brushing against my toes, and I couldn't even go like that with my toe or move my eyes. I couldn't even blink to make them aware I was awake. It's a bit of, really, it was bad. And it took them some time, and suddenly they went shit and flooded me with drugs and put me back out again. And when I came round after that surgery and I woke up, and all she got out of me was, I woke up, didn't I? You know what I mean? Like, most people write books on this shit. I'm just like, wow, I woke up, didn't I? That was my response to that. So when I say what I went through was fucking severe, utterly severe, and I was dying on this bed, I was, you know. And a lot of things come into your head at that point. It really does. And I've got a video on my body cam, because that's the way I work, because I have to. And that paramedic and all them people in that covered up, they were really good, like really genuinely good. And then they reversed me back to my own doctors, and that's when the shit started. I spoke to the doctor and I said, you know, they were aware being on the hotline, and so I had to give it a specimen, a test. I had to be tested for gastroenteritis, oh, bollocks, COVID. And so I researched it all because that's what I do, because I won Dragon's Den Tweet a Bitch for fucking my international medical company. I've got clients from all over the fucking world. You know what I mean? Even the Russians trusted me, and that takes some doing, you know. They don't trust anyone, you know, but they used my company too. Um, so yeah, it was like I was just staggered by what happened. I had to ask my daughter to get me a testing pot rather than send them miles away, because all our doctors are closed now because of COVID. Um, to go, because that's what they told me. I rang them back after I spoke to the doctor and I said, okay, I've got to get this test. I can't get over there. I've got limited resources because, you know, my mother's in fucking hibernation with my daughter, basically. So I was trying to plan in my head, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do an emergency need to fight for my life? I need antibiotics. That was where it was at. And my daughter brought me a test from a pharmacy, not from the doctors, which was written, labelled and so forth. And it was just unbelievable. I managed to, I got that from my daughter, so she's not contaminated. She dropped it off on my step. I didn't communicate, come near her, nothing, yeah? So that was safe. But then the following day, I had to get to that doctor's. I'm passing through all these people. I'm in the reception area trying to keep my distance. Couldn't keep a 2 meter distance. I've got a major mask on, the best you can get, which were family arranged, thank God. And all these older people passing me in that reception, I'm thinking, fuck me, I'm going to infect these people. And they knew I was there for COVID, and they didn't protect anyone from me. That was the deal. And then I couldn't believe the fucking shit they threw at me. It was like, I've got it all on body cam. They don't realise that they're that busy being smart ass bastards, right? And that's what they were. Pembroke House painting shithole. Fucking quacks. They're all quacks. And yeah, I've got them all on my fucking body cam. They went, oh, well, this is not okay. I went, sorry, what? I'd already walked out. And I got a phone call. Thank God I was still in the vicinity. I took a taxi over there, covered up, gloves on, the whole thing. Almost like I was in intensive care with COVID. You know, I was protecting people not only from myself and so forth, you know. And I couldn't believe that was fucking real. I just couldn't believe it. Useless twats, you know what I mean? Quacks. All these old people, had the guilt I felt. I shouldn't have even been there. I was told by the paramedics they'd send, you know, people are there, don't worry, they'll help you. They were fucking great. These fucking lot of cunts were just shit. And putting me a COVID fucking likely case in front of all these fucking poor old people going in that. I'm just like that. I can't believe I couldn't even stand up. I'm at temperature. I'm nearly passing out. I'm standing out the door. I'm fanning myself because I was in that much of a fucking state, you know. And yeah, then they tell me, oh, this is now good. We've written your name on this testing pot, and that one from the chemist, which is the hygienic, and we told you to go and get, can't be used. We need you to. I'm just like, you are fucking kidding me. I'm on the phone on my body cam going, you told me to do this. You told me. You're telling me. Right. And then they were starting to refuse to even test me, yeah? I've been researching. I've been tested. Right. All the tests I went for, the test I was given to go for gastroenteritis, I'd already checked that I could be tested for COVID through that test, as well as my liver, because they were all the matters I was dealing with. And you know what they said? Was like, no, we don't test for that. I'm like, right. You hear me on my own body cam, and I'm going to add a video with snippets of it that you just be like jaw dropped and think, what? And the people passing me and things, I just was dying of COVID-19. Oh, it was just a circus. It was just a fucking sideshow. It really was. And yeah, for all my bravery to die at home, willingly not bother the NHS, stay at home, fuck me, I got slapped in the face with that. You know, all I wanted was life-saving antibiotics, and I couldn't get them to open the medical cupboard. Fucking shame on them, you know, and whoever possibly contaminated whilst I was there, because when I phoned my own doctors, they turned around and they went, oh no, there's no one, you know, who can help me. So I had to fucking go over there myself. Um, yeah, it was horrific. It really was horrific. And the information that's been hidden from us, you know, I researched Italy and China, and I seen Ellen show, just by chance on Facebook. I don't watch these things, you know, but I seen Pink going after I'd already declared to all and sundry on fucking my own Facebook, 5,000 global fucking people and whatever. It knows no age. It knows no age. You know, deaths in China and Italy. Like our government didn't know that. Like our government didn't fucking know that kids were going to be dying. Yes, they did. And I was like, back the way, way back the way, texting my kids about get them out of school, get them fucking, it knows no age, it knows no age. You're mixing with all their families and all their families, get them out. Fuck what Johnson says. Fuck him. Fucking player. You know what I mean? He's a fucking player. He's just took the twat out of the whole of Britain and put us all in major risk. And his sideshow fucking Bob cabinet, honest to God, they're a fucking disgrace. And I can't express to you how grateful I am to have lived. Basically, I woke up for numerous mornings after that, and literally as soon as I opened my eyes was like, thank you God, truly, thank you God, because honestly, I really, really, really didn't make it, almost didn't make it, honestly. Now where I stand is like where everybody else in my position stands. No one knows, like, you know, about reinfection and matters like that. But for literally 6 weeks, I've never, ever, ever been so ill in my life. And I've been close to death on numerous occasions for numerous reasons in my life. But, you know, I was never, never so bitterly angry as I was that day that I nearly died that night, yeah. It was like, I'm just going to become another fucking Johnson statistic. They're not going to say she died of COVID. They're going to say, gastroenteritis, liver failure, heart attack, whatever was going to take me that day would have never have been registered. And I just see it as British people that have died from this, that are, you know, it's all been exposed now, Channel 4 News, that they're not registering deaths as that appropriately. That's another medical cover-up. That and more whistleblowers. Come on, NHS. Come on, you're one of us. Come on, like, who do you owe anything fucking to? You owe it to yourselves and you owe it to the people, not the shitty fucking government that are fucking killing thousands of people. You know what needs to be done, really, truly needs to be done. Keir Starmer, all the fucking rest of it, stand up. Every single death in the UK since this began, truly, needs to be an inquiry. How they died, what they died of, who was around them, did they have COVID? Because I swear to God, this is the biggest fucking government cover-up of all time. Truly it is. Sometimes, you know, you survive for a reason. Well, I intend to fucking make sure that I make good of surviving and just fucking standing up to this absolute farce of a government Check his fucking checkmate, bozzer. You lazy layabout fuckwit. You know, 5 Cobra meetings. I was running around getting I was doing all that way back. And you were doing fuck all. But what? Well, what? What were you doing? What were you doing? You lazy fuckwit. I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not sorry. I'm speaking my truth. I'm speaking my truth. And all the way through Johnson's campaign on Twitter and Facebook, I can search my tweet. You want it? I can give you it. Evidence into you, right? I was kept putting a gif of the Grim Reaper regarding Johnson, yeah, and his electoral campaign. Well, I got that fucking right, didn't I? Because I'll tell you now, and I'll tell you fucking straight, you, Johnson, are gone for good. You ain't ever coming back. You ain't ever coming back. You are fucking finished. We will drag the power out of your fucking claws as a country united. Wait and see. Wait and see. Angry. Because how many people have died when that was what was on my mind. That was what was on my mind. Lying here, dying, thinking, I'm gonna end up some fucking massive COVID up here. They're gonna say I didn't die of COVID. And when I asked for them tests from my doctors, quacks, because they're a gang of quacks, when I asked for that COVID test and even the liver test, the fucking attitude on them, I'm going to post it, yeah. I'm going to put it up on YouTube, clips of them behaviour towards me. As I say, the COVID hotline, the fucking medics was sound as fuck. Got to them bastards and they treat me like absolutely fucking shit on my deathbed and put all kinds of people at risk. They're absolute trash and they deserve everything they're gonna get, which is me exposing them. Thank you, yeah.